Hi friends, welcome back to Botanical Woman. Today we're gonna do some propagating. Yay, everybody's favorite. I haven't been propagating in a while. I don't have the space, but I just gave my Hoya Rebecca a haircut, so I have all these cuttings to deal with. And I just wanted to experiment, as I love experimenting, a different way of propagating, because historically I was not a fan of moss, because I guess I didn't really understand how to use it properly. Now that I've had more experience dealing with moss, I feel like I'm like, all right, I could see why people love this so much. So one of the main things of using moss is making sure that it is completely not dry, but not holding that much moisture. And to check that, you just really want to squeeze it, that you don't want water to be coming out of it. You want it to be just wet enough, so it's holding some amount of moisture, but not too wet. So let me get my little baggie. I've already done one here, and so I'm doing two different methods today. I mean, they're kind of the same, but different in the sense that I am keeping it on the mother plant, and these are obviously I already cut. So I've already done one here. I tried to select one that doesn't have as many leaves, because that can also cause problems, as you well know. Too much moisture, leaves touching each other, rotting. Put it in the bag, so you're creating a humidity dome, but because it's attached to the mother plant, it should root faster in theory, because it continues to get nutrients from the mother plant, so it doesn't have to worry about that, so it can focus more on root development. You might want to remove some leaves if you have too many leaves on your strand. The key is to prevent the moss from drying out, so you want a good seal, and I feel like these clips will do okay. So in a week or so, I will check back with it. Now, let's talk about the cuttings. I've done a lot of Hoya propagations, particularly because Hoyas are kind of difficult to get, even if you can buy them. And when you can get them and you're not buying it from the big box store, you're usually like getting a cutting or two or a node or two, and it can be very frustrating when you don't know how to properly propagate it. And trust me, I've killed a lot of plants. So I'm here to share with you what I think. I want to talk about two things. The stem, which is the thickness of it, right? It is very thin. The nodes are quite close together. You're gonna have some Hoyas with thick stems, woodier stems, and you will not treat those plants this way. So this is a really, really long strand. You're not gonna want to propagate this like this. Or at least I wouldn't, right? Let's just say this is the only strand you got. Do you do 1 node cuttings? Do you do 4 nodes? What is the magic number? I used to be really greedy and do 1 node cuttings. Not that they don't work, they do, it's just that they're not as healthy. I would avoid doing 1 node cuttings. I would do at least 4 nodes for something that looks like this. With woodier cuttings, I do believe you can get away with 1 node cuttings. Be mindful of the direction. If you want to learn direction, look at the video that I made. I try to be as clear as possible of how to tell which is the right direction after you've cut it all up, and sometimes things just get a little messed up. So I like to usually do 5 in a pot, so just keep taking cuttings like this. 3 is probably fine, but I like to give 2 extras as like a safety measure, because you know, things happen. So you want 2 nodes at the bottom, and then you can leave the leaves on top if you want. I've tried using perlite in the past. It works out fine, but today I have this moss, and I quite like it. I feel like it keeps the moisture longer, the humidity longer, and you don't have to deal with it as much. So you're just making a bed. You can use any container, bag that, you know, that you have laying around, doesn't matter. And we're just gonna put it on top. We're just gonna layer it. And because there's not that much moisture in the moss, you're not gonna have to worry about, you know, it getting too soggy or rotting. I have to remind myself which way is up. And then I'm going to leave only 2 leaves on this bad boy. Now here, this one doesn't have the leaves, so I'm just gonna clip the bottom one. That's the other thing, is how fresh the cuttings are. The fresher the cuttings are, I literally just took these, so they should root very quickly. If a cutting has been taken like, you know, a few weeks ago, it will affect its growth rate, because remember, the moment you cut these, it's slowly dying. That's what's happening to it. So I hope this helped you figure out how to propagate your precious, very expensive Hoyas. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week. Happy growing.